everyone, and welcome back to season 2 of the Irish Accent podcast. I hope you've all been doing really well, and I'm so happy to be back talking to you after the long break. So this is officially season 2 of the podcast, and I'm going to be changing the format a little bit for this new season. For this season, I'm going to upload 2 podcasts every week. On Mondays, I'll upload a beginner or lower intermediate episode. And then on Thursdays, I will upload a higher intermediate level or more advanced level episode. So the topic for both episodes will be the same. So for example, if this week's topic is holidays, on Monday, I'll be uploading a more beginner-friendly or lower intermediate level episode about that topic. And then on the Thursday, I'll be uploading a more advanced level podcast about the same topic. So hopefully you can listen to the first episode on Monday and check how much you understand, and then challenge yourself by listening to Thursday's episode, which will be on the exact same topic. I will just, of course, be speaking more naturally. I'll be speaking quicker. I will be able to expand the topic and speak maybe about more issues, using more vocabulary, some different grammar structures, etc. So as always, I will be uploading the video version to YouTube so that you can follow along with the episode and read along with the text while you're listening to the episode. And I will also be uploading a PDF file of the episode, so you can download that and study along with the text. And that will be available on my Buy Me a Coffee website. The links for everything will be in the show notes. So I really hope you enjoy listening. And if you have any feedback at all, or if you want to suggest a topic, please do leave me a comment. So I'm actually recording this episode in July, so we're right in the middle of summer here in Ireland, but it's really not hot at all. Today it was about 15 degrees. I think when I woke up this morning, it was about 13 or 14 degrees, and the hottest point today has been 15 degrees. So I know that around the world, Ireland is quite famous for having very bad weather. For example, if people make videos about Ireland or even write stories about Ireland, I think it's always shown very rainy and maybe with grey skies and lots of clouds. And actually that is true. We really don't get very good weather here, to be honest, especially in autumn and winter. We just have a lot of grey, rainy weather. I feel like in Ireland we have a very mild climate. And what I mean is, in winter, of course it gets cold. We sometimes get a little bit of snow. It can be 0 degrees and we can have icy roads. And in summer, we do sometimes get quite hot weather. We even sometimes have a heat wave. But in general, compared to other countries, we don't have these extremely hot summers and then very, very cold winters with lots of snow. For example, if you look at a country like Korea, I know in winter it gets extremely cold there, like -10 degrees, so much snow, absolutely freezing. But then in summer, it can be up to 38 degrees, extremely humid, so hot. So across the year, they have this huge range of weather. But in Ireland, we don't really have those very extreme weathers with very hot summers and very, very cold winters. When I was younger, of course, I always wanted to have much hotter summers and freezing cold winters to experience snow properly. But as I've got older, I'm actually appreciating Ireland's weather more and more because all year round, it's actually pretty comfortable. Of course, it rains a lot, but once you get used to that, it's quite nice to know that you're never going to be really, really uncomfortably hot, or you're not going to experience extreme snowfall. So yeah, that's why people say Ireland has quite a mild climate. So because of that, for as long as I can remember, hot weather was such a big deal in Ireland because it was so rare. We just don't experience the same hot weather that other countries experience. As soon as the temperature would go up, and it doesn't even have to go that high, even if it goes above 20 degrees, Everyone in Ireland starts wearing summer clothes. They will wear t-shirts, shorts, summer dresses. It's very funny. For example, if I'm walking around Dublin and the temperature is about even 20 degrees, I can see a lot of Irish people in complete summer clothes versus tourists who might still be wearing their jackets or their coats, because obviously for people coming from hotter countries, it's still very, very cold. But ever since I was a child, I can remember as soon as the weather got hot, lots of families would go out to their garden and start barbecuing, and everyone would go to the beach, especially if the weather was hot on the weekend. Everybody would drive to the beach, and there would actually sometimes be queues to get to the beach because there would be so many cars on the road. But I feel like this is quite normal because we get so little good weather. We really want to enjoy it as much as we can. And I think when we do get good weather, Irish people really do know how to enjoy the good weather, which is nice. I actually looked it up before I recorded this podcast, and Ireland's hottest day on record ever was on June 26th, 1887, when Kilkenny Castle, which is an old castle in Kilkenny, which is in the southeast of Ireland, it recorded a temperature of 33.3 degrees, which now, looking at that, feels so low. I travelled to Italy a couple of weeks ago. I went there at the end of June, and it was 36 degrees every single day. So it's just crazy to think that our hottest day ever was only 33 degrees, and that was well over 100 years ago. So yeah, Ireland really does not experience the same temperatures that even the rest of Europe experiences now. But because we just don't get that sort of hot, typical summer weather, I think Irish people are really not used to hot weather. And of course, everybody is different. I'm speaking from my own personal experience, but I think Irish people are also very known for having quite pale skin that burns very easily. It's very typical if an Irish person goes outside without any sun cream, their skin is going to turn red very, very quickly. We actually have something called farmer's tan, because when farmers would go outside and work during the summer and they would be wearing a short-sleeved shirt or t-shirt with no sun cream, their arms would be completely burnt, but only up until the shirt, the sleeve of their shirt. So then when they take their shirt off, their arm is completely red and then the top half is white. So we call that a farmer's tan in Ireland, when your skin is very, very red, but then the parts of your body that were covered by clothes are white. It's known as a farmer's tan. So of course, some people do tan. If they're out in the sun, their skin will just tan. But I think a lot of people in Ireland burn very easily, which is actually very, very dangerous. And I think growing up, we didn't really know about how dangerous it was to get burnt. These days, I think there's a lot of research and information on how dangerous the sun can be and why it's so important to wear sun cream and cover up. But definitely growing up, people would just go outside and sunbathe with no sun cream on. In fact, people would actually sometimes put tanning oil on, which is basically just an oil to get more tanned, but it has no sun protection. So looking back, it was actually very, very dangerous. And for me personally, when I was younger, I've always burned very easily, but I never realized how dangerous that was when I was younger. So I really wasn't careful. But nowadays, I really try to be much more careful in the summer. I always wear sun cream, I have a big hat that covers my face, and I wear sunglasses. And actually, when I travel I sometimes see other tourists holding a sun umbrella. It's called a parasol, and it's basically just an umbrella, a really light umbrella that blocks out the sun. So I actually don't think that's a bad idea. Maybe I will get one for myself in the future. I know one thing a lot of people really hate about the summer is mosquitoes. But in Ireland, we actually don't really have mosquitoes. We do sometimes, but it's very, very rare. We have other types of insects that you can get bites from. But I know in other parts of the world, mosquitoes can be really bad in the summer. And I've definitely experienced that when I'm traveling abroad. I can get really bad mosquito bites. I've sometimes had a lot of bites on my legs and they can get really big and swollen and they're so itchy until you can put some sort of cream on them. So I think that's one good thing about summer in Ireland, is that our mosquitoes are not so bad. For me, my favourite seasons are probably autumn and spring. I don't know exactly why, I've just always really liked those seasons, but I definitely do love summer. And I think one of the best things about summer here in Ireland is how long our days are, especially in June, July, August. The sun rises so early in the morning. Even before I wake up in the morning, it's already bright outside and it doesn't get dark again until 10 or even 10:30 sometimes in the evening. So it just feels like after work you have so much more time to enjoy, to go outside for walks. Even waking up in the morning is easier because you're waking up and it's already bright. So I always feel more energetic and more enthusiastic to get up and exercise in the morning during summer compared to trying to get up in winter, which is impossible. But it's only the end of July, but I think I can already feel it's getting a little bit darker earlier in the evening, which is very sad because I really do enjoy the longer evenings. But hopefully I can enjoy some long evenings for the rest of August before we head back into autumn. So I don't know what summer is like in your country or where you're listening from, but I'd love to hear what sort of weather you have, or what your favourite things are about summer, or your least favourite things about summer. Please do let me know in the comments. And I really hope you enjoyed listening to today's episode. And I'm looking forward to speaking to you again in next week's episode. So I will be uploading another episode next Monday, which will be on a new topic. And again, that will be a more beginner or intermediate level episode. So looking forward to chatting to you then. Bye bye.